there's that little voice in the back of your head that just goes, do you really want to be showing people that you can do this stuff? You know? Yeah. But at the same time, you'll see that the problem that we have now as humans is bandwidth, because the deeper we go, the more information you need to absorb and interpret to take action in the real world. Yeah. And so it's really useful, but we ain't going anywhere. Can you help me to list the jobs to be done for each of these personas? What job are they trying to get done by using this product? Please add the data to a 3-column table, persona category in the left category, persona in the middle column, and job to be done in the right, listed as bullet points. Certainly. Here's a 3-column table with the persona categories, personas, and the respective jobs to be done. So, game designers and development. Game design and development. So the persona in that category is game designer, and the jobs to be done listed in handy, neat little rows. Generate game assets efficiently. As professionals, we still need to know our craft to smell the bullshit, and that's so true, right? Like, you need to be able to read between the lines. You need to understand what you're doing. It's great, especially GPT, great tool for having a co-collaborator that's always there, always listening to bounce ideas off and get the ball rolling. But if, I suppose the crux of what I'm saying here is, if I was a non-designer trying to get the same results, I would be having to depend on the model being right, which is dangerous. It's really, 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 really dangerous. So whatever you use the tools for, you should still be a professional in that field.
We've been hard at work building a great product over the last few months, and in that time it's been maturing. But in terms of using the tools, for a first-time user that's never been exposed to this sort of thing, it can be quite complicated at first glance. You jump onto the homepage and we've got an amazing community feed, and you see all these insane artworks generated by AI. But then to know how to actually create those, it can be a bit of a jump. From just jumping into the tool and entering a prompt to actually realizing you can check out what prompts people are using, what settings they're using. And so I think creating an onboarding sequence which can take users through that process and really get them up to speed with what each of these settings and tools are capable of doing, that's really good.
Yeah.
Another thing is, I don't know about you when you first use GPT, but it can be a little bit overwhelming when you just have something so powerful in an empty box and you can ask anything, and then you're like, what do I ask at this point, right?
Okay, so from here, so we've got an art director, right? I'd be inclined to have a think about the environment in which they make their decisions. So where they would come from to arrive at Leonardo.ai, and then what they would go through to reach their goal, which is ultimately understanding the product, and then your goal would be to essentially have a conversion. So this is just a very quick generalized view at how we might understand the problem from a design perspective. UX research, right? Just we want to focus in on understanding the priority users, customer segments, the users, figure out as quickly as possible which ones are most important to solve for, which in a lot of cases we'll force that decision through in one stakeholder, so we'll have a group of stakeholders voting in a session, in person or remote, and then we'll have one final decision, which is quite often the CEO or CTO will come in and just go, no, we're doing this first, right? Bang, and then that forces us to just get moving, start with something, right? Because there's a whole lot of paralysis by analysis that happens in this industry, where it's like, oh, which one do we start with? What if we make a mistake? It's like, well, look, make a mistake very quickly so you can change, right? It doesn't work for every industry. You don't want to do that with medical equipment, or buildings or bridges, but and in a lot of cases with data as well, right? So you do need to be careful with that approach. It's not a one size fits all, but in this case, for onboarding and solving, fairly simple problems, we want to make some decisions quickly, right? So that is a caveat for anyone who might be listening to this, that move fast and break things is not always the approach to take. You just look at the state of Silicon Valley now and the big mistakes that people have made, but just discussing or just explaining how we might move through this process to understand what the current onboarding approach is, and then we might move on to ideating what the new approach would be, right? So this is this is how we'd kick off a project, and kick off how it would solve these problems, right? And one of the things with using AI to solve these same problems is, and I'm trying to reconcile this in my mind, right? Like, and that's part of this process, is doing it on your own is just, it's not the solution. Doing it on your own with AI is not the solution. Getting inspiration from AI and bringing it to the table in some way is definitely a solution. How to do it the best way, I don't know yet, right? I'm trying to figure that out. And so after this, we'll jump into some prompts and have a look at the rabbit hole that Dave and I went down the other night.
Yeah, I'm really keen for this. I really enjoy using GPT.
But for this session, we'll use the actual interface that everyone has simple access to. And let's get started with this. I'm going to ask it to be a team member. So I'd like you to act as UX designer on the Leonardo AI team. Here we go. Just on the screen. I just created a text version of the homepage and brought it back in. I'm going to go return. Cool. So what's it doing now? Thank you for providing me the information about Leonardo AI. It's clear that the platform aims to simplify and streamline the content generation process for artists and designers, offering a suite of tools to create, modify, and iterate on visual assets using AI models. So with this understanding of the product vision and mission, let's revisit the onboarding process and tailor it to the unique needs of Leonardo.ai users. So the next prompt, can you help me list the top demographics for our business? Let's see what it does. Certainly. To determine the top demographics for Leonardo AI, we should first consider the primary user groups that are most likely to benefit from the platform. Based on the product's features and capabilities, here are some potential demographics to target. Game designers and developers, digital artists and illustrators, graphic designers, animation and film. So this is where we're starting to go into, look, so you go back to the process that we went through where we all ideated. And when you bring a lot of people to the table for workshops, you bring a lot of ideas faster, right? For different people we could focus on, customer segments, etc. That's one of the benefits of a workshop. This has clear value in terms of speeding up that process, right? It's started the thinking. It's brought customer segments to the table that, some of these are surprising. Educational institutions, Can you help me to list the jobs to be done for each of these personas? What job are they trying to get done by using this product? Please add the data to a 3-column table, persona category in the left category, persona in the middle column, and job to be done in the right, listed as bullet points. Certainly. Here's the 3-column table with the persona categories, personas, and their respective jobs to be done. So, game designers and development. Game design and development. So the persona in that category is game designer. And the jobs to be done listed in handy, neat little rows. Generate game assets efficiently. So these are, if you know about jobs to be done, the best way that I can describe it is that jobs already exist. It's very rare that there's ever a new job for a human. They are, these customers are currently getting these jobs done by other means. You want them to fire the other provider who's helping them get their job done and hire you to get that same job done. You got to offer them a more compelling bit of value than the other option, right? And so, again, if you didn't have experience with the craft, would you have gone down this particular rabbit hole? Maybe not, but I think back to knowing your craft, I think it's important, right? Like, because this is, super valuable stuff, but you need to know what to ask for.